Hello, this is Papa B reading, and I am continuing today with part 2 of chapter 5 called The Deplorable Word from the book called The Magicians Nephew, which is part of the complete Chronicles of Narnia by HarperCollins and written by C.S. Lewis. I begin. The two children stood silent, shivering in the cold wind. "It was my sister's fault," said the Queen. "She drove me to it. May the curse of all the powers rest upon her forever." At any moment I was ready to make peace, and yes, to spare her life too, if only she would yield me the throne. But she would not. Her pride has destroyed the whole world. Even after the war had begun, there was a solemn promise that neither side would use magic. But when she broke her promise, what could I do? Fool. And as if she did not know that I had more magic than she even knew that I had the secret of the deplorable word. Did she think, she was always a weakling, that I would not use it? "What was it?" said Diggory. "That was the secret of secrets," said the Queen Jadis. "It had long been known to the great kings of our race that there was a word which, if spoken with the proper ceremonies, would destroy all things living except the one who spoke it. But the ancient kings were weak and soft-hearted and bound themselves, and all who should come after them with great oaths, never even to seek after the knowledge of that word. But I learned it in a secret place and paid a terrible price to learn it. I did not use it until she forced me to it. I fought to overcome her by every other means. I poured out the blood of my armies like water." "Beast," muttered Polly. "The last great battle," said the Queen, "raged for 3 days here in Charn itself. For 3 days I looked down upon it from this very spot. I did not use my power till the last of my soldiers had fallen, and the accursed woman, my sister, at the head of her rebels, was halfway up those great stairs that led up from the city to the terrace. Then I waited till we were so close that we could see one another's faces. She flashed her horrible, wicked eyes upon me and said, 'Victory.' 'Yes,' I said, 'victory, but not yours.' Then I spoke the deplorable word. A moment later I was the only living thing beneath the sun." "But the people," gasped Diggory. "What people, boy?" said the Queen. "All the ordinary people," said Polly, "who'd never done you any harm, and the women and the children and the animals." "Don't you understand?" said the Queen, still speaking to Diggory. "I was the Queen. They were all my people. What else were they there for but to do my will?" "It was rather hard luck on them all the same," said he. "I'd forgotten that you were only a common boy. How should you understand reasons of state? You must learn, child, that would be wrong for you or for any of the common people is not wrong in a great queen such as I. The weight of the world is on our shoulders. We must be freed from all rules. Ours is a high and lonely destiny." Diggory suddenly remembered that Uncle Andrew had used exactly the same words, but they sounded much grander when Queen Jadis said them, perhaps because Uncle Andrew was not 7 feet tall and dazzlingly beautiful. "And what did you do then?" said Diggory. "I had already cast strong spells on the hall where the images of my ancestors sit, and the force of those spells was that I should sleep among them like an image myself, and need neither food nor fire, though it were 1,000 years, till one came and struck the bell and awoke me." "Was it the deplorable word that made the sun like that?" said Diggory. "Like what?" said Jadis. "So big, so red, and so cold." "It's always been so," said Jadis, "at least for hundreds of thousands of years. Have you a different sort of sun in your world?" "Yes, it's smaller and yellower, and it gives a good deal more heat." The Queen gave a long, drawn "Ah!" and Diggory saw on her face the same hungry and greedy look which he had lately seen on Uncle Andrew's. "So," she said, "yours is a younger world." She paused for a moment to look once more at the deserted city, and if she was sorry for all the evil she had done there, she certainly didn't show it, and then said, "Now, let us be going. It's cold here at the end of all the ages." "Going where?" said the children. "Where?" repeated Jadis in surprise. "To your world, of course." Polly and Diggory looked at each other aghast. Polly had disliked the Queen from the first, and even Diggory, now that he had heard the story, felt sure he had seen quite as much of her as he wanted. Certainly, she was not at all the sort of person one would like to take home, and if they did like, they didn't know how they could. What they wanted was to get away themselves, but Polly couldn't get at her ring, and of course Diggory couldn't go without her. Diggory got very red in the face and stammered, Oh, our world. I didn't know you wanted to go there." "What else were you sent here for if not to fetch me?" asked Jadis. "I'm sure you wouldn't like our world at all," said Diggory. "It's not her sort of place, is it, Polly? It's very dull and not worth seeing, really." "It will soon be worth seeing when I rule it," answered the Queen. "Oh, but you can't," said Diggory. "It's not like that. They wouldn't let you, you know." The Queen gave a contemptuous smile. "Many great kings," she said, "thought they could stand against the house of Charn, but they all fell, and their very names are forgotten. Foolish boy, do you think that I, with my beauty and my magic, will not have your whole world at my feet before a year has passed? Prepare your incantations and take me there at once." "This is perfectly frightful," said the Polly. "Perhaps you fear this for this uncle of yours," said Jadis, "but if he honors me duly, he shall keep his life and his throne. I'm not going to fight against him. He must be a very great magician if he has found how to send you here. Is he king of your whole world, or only part of it?" "He isn't king anywhere," said Diggory. "You're lying," said the Queen. "Does not magic always go with the royal blood? Who ever heard of common people being magicians? I can see the truth whether you speak it or not. Your uncle is the great king and the great enchanter of your world, and by his art he has seen the shadow of my face in some magic mirror of some enchanted pool, and for the love of my beauty he has made a potent spell which shook your world to its foundations and sent you across the vast gulf between worlds and world to ask my favor and to bring me to him. Answer me, is this not how it was?" "Well, not exactly," said Diggory. "Not exactly," shouted Polly. "Why, it's absolute bosh from beginning to end." "Minions!" cried the Queen, turning in rage upon Polly and seizing her hair at the very top of her head where it hurts most. But in doing, she let go of both the children's hands. "Now," shouted Diggory, and "Quick!" shouted Polly. They plunged their left hands into their pockets. They did not even need to put the rings on. The moment they touched them, the whole of that dreary world vanished from their eyes. They were rushing upward, and a warm green light was growing near overhead. And that ends part 2 of chapter The Deplorable Word from the Magician's Nephew, from the HarperCollins, The Complete Chronicles of Narnia. And this is Papa B reading, saying bye-bye.